What's good, YouTube land? Word Collector here. Moving swiftly up to Deluxe class, we have Earthrise, Cliffjumpers, box. Yeah, we gotta talk about the box for a second, because it's slightly different to the Siege boxes. Being the only difference is the color, mainly. This nice light greenish blue, aquamarine, if you will. Something in that range, but yep. There's a picture of Cliffjumper right there, holding his boomstick. It says Deluxe class right there. We have the new picture on the side, which we have to take a look at. So we've got Optimus Prime there, the frickin' Quintessons right here. You can kind of see a Megatron right here, Wheeljack, who's Wave 1, Trail Cutter, who's not using that head because his official toy has been announced. He's not using that head. He's using I think a more cartoon-based head. We have Hound right below Wheeljack. We got Sideswipe, freaking RC, who's been announced, and has a masterpiece on the way, which it doesn't look as good. Shockwave right here, and if you look up top, you'll find a cheeky Galvatron. I really hope they do Galvatron in this line. They need to do him more justice than Titan's Return did. Anything else? There's the Ark breaking up as it's entering. So Siege had it freaking flying off of Cybertron, while Earthrise has it crashing onto Earth. And I think that's Red Alert, probably right there. Right where my finger was. No, that's Bumblebee, actually. That's Bumblebee. Okay. And I think that right there is Double Dealer, who's actually been announced. But on the back, we got pictures of Cliff. The bottom, nothing. And yeah. So, here he is. Deluxe class Cliffjumper. And first off, he's not Deluxe class. He's Legends class. And take this away. Here is, was it Titan's Return? Outback, Power of the Primes? He's slightly taller than Outback. He's Legends class, frankly. He's not Deluxe. But he is more heavily engineered than a Legends. So I can understand why he was priced at a Deluxe. It's not for everyone. Some people are going to look at the price and go, no, he's not worth it. And I can understand that. But we're here now. I did buy him. I'm going to talk about him. And he is very classic Cliffjumpery. I forgot to do something. Give me a quick 2 seconds. Oh, you want another? It's been a long while since we've actually gotten a G1 Cliffjumper. I think the last one was Classics, I'm going to say. Who was just a basic Bumblebee repaint. But I think it was released first, I'm not sure. It's going crazy. Where's Earthrise? Okay. And the last time we actually got a non-Bumblebee Cliffjumper was this guy, Prime. This is the Prime RID Cliffjumper. I never got the first edition. And for a size comparison, this guy was considered small when he was released. Just think about that for a second, compared to that. But this guy isn't this guy. This guy is a completely different Cliffjumper. He didn't get to jump off any cliffs. He just got to die. Transformers Prime. And for another comparison, let me remove his heavy artillery for a second. For Wave 1 of Siege, here you go. Side swipe. But let's talk about what we do have, which is a very nice head sculpt. Very Cliffjumpery. Thankfully not just a red Bumblebee helmet. Very nice painted blue eyes. Still not getting consistent light piping, unfortunately. But I do appreciate the blue eyes and the sort of, I'm trying to expression on his face. I'm trying to do this thumbnail again. How many times in a row can I get this thumbnail of just showing a toy close to the camera? Other than that, he's very clean. But you can remove this if you want. He's very clean. His articulation is good. If I had one, his colors are good, although very basic, because it's just red and black, but a little bit silver on details we'll talk about in vehicle mode. But my big question, at least for robot mode, is where's the Autobot symbol? Well, it's in his car mode, which is unfortunate that they didn't put it somewhere that would be visible in robot mode. Take a good look at all the detail on him. He does have quite a bit of molded in detail on the black plastic. I like the looks of the biceps. They look like tubing, which looks cool. Look very robotic. On the back, it's just kind of bare black plastic. Not much to say other than the his feet hook all the way around. His feet are a little bit big, but with the transformation, it's kind of the nature of doing this car mode more accurate to the actual thing. Because the original Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, all those guys were squished, like super deformed, little penny racers, basically. So when they had to stretch out his car to its natural proportions, it did kind of end up giving him clown shoes, which I would say are better than these kind of crappy ball-jointed feet. Articulation-wise, the head is on a ball joint. It feels a little bit limited, but you can get some up and down, full swivel. His little horns kind of help. And you do get some side to side. You do get a full universal shoulder all the way out, all the way around. Swivel right below at the bicep. He does have dual double range elbows, so he can go forwards and backwards, and his transformation joint can come on loose. He does have a wrist swivel, which is nice. He's got a waist swivel, which if you look at the back, it's all the way up here, but it actually does a good job of hiding itself and making it look like it's in the right place. Due to the transformation, you can get not an ab crunch, but a bend in his back, you can do that for whatever poses you think that is good for. Hips, universal joints, go all the way forwards, all the way back, outwards completely. He can properly Van Damme, which is nice. If you were to put him in between two cars, would you put him between like Sideswipe and Prowl, maybe? I don't know. Knees, bend to the 90 with a little bit of extra exposed detail there. Looking good. The foot can tilt all the way in. That's a lot of ankle tilt. For example, he can do a pretty good rider kick. Actually, let's do it a proper. There you go. Although it does look like his foot is broken in the process. Like he tried to kick with this one at some point, and it just didn't work. Or maybe he just rider kicked somebody and they were too tough, so he broke his ankle. I do wish there was a forward and backwards ankle joint, but that's just always me wanting more articulation than there is. But articulation is up to modern standards, very nice. You do have a not a bunch of 5mm ports, but you have one on each arm, the back one that's connected to the backpack, and one right there. You also have, how many? You have 3 blast effect pegs, one on that shoulder. Ooh, where is it? I think my finger was coming up, one right there on that thigh, and on that forearm right there. So before we talk about let's talk about one of the elephants in the room. This is just the back of his car mode. He's a parts former. He's a parts former. Now, a lot of people are going to go, oh, parts forming, worst toy ever. And I can understand on this guy, it feels like this piece should either transform or maybe figure out some engineering for it because it basically ends up in his hands in his vehicle mode. So it kind of sucks that you just take it off and plug it back in at the end. Oh, and it also has a 5mm port on it, which we'll talk about in vehicle mode. But this is where the rest of the plastic went in his freaking gigantic weapon. It's taller than he is. And I wasn't sure on this weapon until I realized the actual lore surrounding this. So, in the cartoon, as I found out, Cliffjumper fired the first shot that started the war between the Autobots and Decepticons using this gun. He obviously didn't hit anything because, it's an 80s cartoon. Gotta sell toys. You're not going to have characters killing each other off in the first episode. So obviously, everyone in the Transformers has Stormtrooper aim until the plot says they don't. But yeah, it's a gigantic bazooka with a freaking bipod and a secondary. Can you even... you can technically put it... it doesn't look right trying to do both hands, but it's workable? Is that what I'm looking for? Is that the word I'm looking for? Sure. And also, it splits apart to have potentially a bunch of different... Well, you could have 2 smaller blasters, and then this thing splits in half to be something. I'm not even sure if this is all in frame, but we'll talk about this and these more in the vehicle mode. And we're not even done with the splitting apart. But I also want to, just because I can. Instructions are slightly new as well. Instead of black and white, it's black and green, or white and green. White and green. It now has a refreshing mint flavor. Let's actually get down to transform this guy. And the transformation and the engineering itself is kind of like why it's not a Legends class, because Legends class, like this guy, is very simple. Like, it can be done fairly quickly. You could get it 10 seconds. Boom. You've got your vehicle mode. That's kind of the signature of the Legends price point, which they've actually taken out of commission because they do these guys and then just straight deluxes along with the weaponizers. So I wish Cliffjumper were priced as a Legends class toy, but that's a Legends class transformation for you. Simple, quick. It gets the job done. This guy is in that similar vein, but he has a little bit more to him. So first you're gonna fold open the lid, flip open the car hood, close the lid back up. There's your Autobot insignia. It's been hiding in his chest the whole time. We just couldn't see it. So what are we gonna do? Flip open these parts, and then fold the foot up, fold the wheel to the side. Do the same thing on the other side. Fold up. Come on, where are you? Yep. Okay, where are you? What am I doing? Actually, there you go. Fold out, and you can tab them together. And we're not completely done with the legs, but we're done with them for a split second. I'm gonna hinge these out. Untab these. Kind of fold his arms into some kind of position, and then the big motion. The waist goes all the way upside down. Oh, first it hinges, because you have to get it in the correct position for that, and then take this, fold it all the way, fold these, kind of give the hips clearance, fold that all the way to the front, and actually you want to fold the arms kind of, yeah, I had one of them in the right position, but basically push them together here, like that. And then you're going to want to take these little tabs right there, and you're going to want to get it to the point where it's going to get behind, oh my, and it also tabs into that little slot there in the leg. If I can get it. It takes a little bit of futzing with the plastic. There you go. Tab everything together. And there you have most of his car mode. So you just, where did I put it? Take this part, fold in that peg, like that. Take it, plug it into his fists. And there you go. Make sure it slides up enough. It doesn't sit very well on his back, but there's your Cliffjumper car mode. And yet again, it's slightly bigger than Outback because his legs don't fold in on themselves, but there you go, there's a size comparison. It's gonna take me a split second. Let's do side swipe. The swiping of the sides. So while I do that, I was looking up this. This is, well, cartoon accurate. It is based off a Porsche 924 Turbo. Well, yeah. Although apparently, according to this, the front end more resembles a Mitsubishi Starion, whatever. Yeah, yeah. And something I didn't mention in the robot mode, he has no battle damage paint on him at all. Earthrise is kind of, well, completely abandoned the battle damage idea. And nobody liked it to begin with. It's never really bothered me as much as I've seen it bother other collectors. I'm like, oh, okay. It's just a thing they're doing, which was basically my reaction when I found out. It's like, oh, they're doing battle damage. Oh, okay. And a lot of people have gone to lengths to remove battle damage. I don't care that much. I just like playing with the toys. So, here you go. Sideswipe next to Cliffjumper. It's quite the size difference. Oh, it's gonna take me quite a second. I have to do this guy now, because I do it all in one take, just like Johnny Cage. Frick. I transformed this guy for the first time to robot mode very recently. Not the first time, but like the first time in a long time. So like I'm trying to remember the process. To convert him back. Oh, speaking of this guy made me think of something. It seems to be a common trope now that cliff jumpers just get killed. Because Prime Cliffjumper, this guy died, if I recall, fairly early on. I think in his first appearance in Transformers Prime, and his hand is fucking. There we go. And they killed off Cliffjumper in the Bumblebee movie, in like the scene set on Cybertron. So it's like, since when has Cliffjumper dying been kind of a running joke in the Transformers lore? Something completely skipped. Like, just kind of food for thought, I guess. Because I think Cliffjumper originally died in the movie, 1984 movie. I imagine. I still haven't watched the cartoon. I don't really plan to. Oh. Wait. Yes. I mean, I'll rewatch Beast Wars and friggin' put. I've had so many chances to buy Beast Wars on DVD, but like, put Beast Wars in front of me, and hell yeah, I'll rewatch the crap out of that. There we go. Yeah, this guy. Ah. This guy. This was deemed small back in Transformers Prime of early 2010s, I'm going to say. This guy was considered small. My, how times have changed. But this car mode, I like it. I like it. There's not much to say about it, really. He has his Autobot badge, loud and proud. Maybe they should have done the silver-backed one. All his details are there. The license plate empty, so he'd get a ticket. But he's got turn signals. The black bit right here. all the way to the exhaust pipes, while the brake lights, or I think the rear turn signals, aren't painted in. They're at least molded in, so you could paint them yourself if you want. They've finally consistently doing silver rims again, because there was quite a period of time where they weren't doing silver rims. I don't know if I'm as tempted to paint those as I was when I started collecting, but rolls decently well. I can't really do a doot-de-doo on my arm, but I like the translucent windscreen on all sides. That's nice. The black piece, I'm guessing, is accurate. I can't say the last time I saw a Porsche, or at least a Porsche from the 80s. Underside, a fairly, I mean, those are obvious Transformer legs, and the arms are not hidden, but the rest of them is hidden. You can kind of phony up a hover car mode with just the front two wheels for something, but for actual play pattern, we have the weapon, which I'm just putting back in its this mode to show you. You can plug it into the roof if you want to make it kind of look ridiculous. Well, you can't make this bazooka look more ridiculous, but the car mode does sure look ridiculous with it on. But here's an interesting thing. The way you take this apart, and then you actually can take the bipod apart into, they sort of resemble, they can be bullet magazines, but what you're supposed to do with them is there are two tabs right there, and are two slots, and you can tab in the bullet magazines. I still don't. I think I just said, why would a bazooka have bullet magazines? But this is the reason. And then you take these pieces, and there's tabs right there. What you do is it? Oh, yes. I think. Where do they tab in? I swear. No. I had this before. I'm trying to figure. What am I missing? Oh, the actual peg is on the slot is in the handle. You tap in one because there's only one one-sided slot. Tab in the other. Then you fold this piece and peg it in that port right there. Yeah. No. And it actually has a tiny little pegs right there that peg into the grooves in the pegs of the rear end of the car. And you get, give me a second. If I can actually, oh, there we go. You get a car that looks like this. And what this is basically, it's a, what's the word? You can cruise on water with it. This is like to skim across the top of the water, because this is how they had to go around through water in the first, at least the first part of the G1 cartoon, because the creators hadn't given the Autobots the ability to fly. So instead, they gave them kind of this kind of mode where they had to go, like, these are basically boosters, and these are water skis. So they have to go on water if they had to, well, if they had to get across a body of water. And that's cool. I actually like that inclusion. It's a little bit of lore in a toy. And I'm surprised they haven't thought of that before this. Like, they waited this long to bust out that kind of thing. It gives you a little bit more to do. It gives it a whole playset kind of vibe, which is what they're going for with the War for Cybertron trilogy. Kind of everything's a playset. Everything works with each other. So, yeah, that's cool. Been half an hour. I might as well wrap up. My final thoughts on Cliffjumper. I hate to say he's not worth retail deluxe price, whatever that is to you. To me, that's $30 Canadian. It's hard to recommend him at that price, but I do recommend him as a figure. As a toy, he has little minor things. The lack of a visible Autobot insignia in robot mode kind of bugs me a bit. The parts forming is unfortunate, and there's a couple tabs that apparently have red paint that can scrape off in the transformation, but I don't really have a problem with the car mode other than the visible hands. But the transformation is a little bit more in depth than a standard Legends, which I like. It gives you a little bit more to do with such a small guy, and it's actually nice to have a brand new Cliffjumper toy that is actually a proper Cliffjumper, not either a brand new version of him or a Bumblebee repaint. Now, mind you, this will be remolded into Bumblebee at some point. We're almost 100% sure it's going to. Bumblebee's on the package. He's going to show up in Earthrise or whatever's after Earthrise. Because it's still surprised that they didn't give us a Bumblebee in Siege. Well, it makes sense because on Cybertron, he was he wasn't a Volkswagen, he was a very weird shape, so I guess they didn't want to engineer that, but we're getting one in Earthrise. And I don't actually, looking at my collection, I don't actually have that many Bumblebees. I only have a Legends, an old Legends one. No, actually, this style of Legends one. And I have a gold bug repaint of that Generations Thrilling 30 Bumblebee mold, which I didn't like at all. So, but Cliffjumper, it's nice that they did Cliffjumper first. In the first wave, kind of see how the mold works, get it out of the way. I don't want to say get it out of the way, but make the smaller Transformers for a deluxe price point. You put one out first, then people can go, oh, okay. So it's not as much of a surprise as when the next one comes out. But I like him, and I think he's just a tiny bit adorable. He can jump off all the cliffs he wants. As long as there's a body of water below them, he'll probably land and survive. So, thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Until next time, don't you go jumping off a cliff. Let him jump off the cliffs. Don't jump off cliffs, either physically or emotionally. Bye. Sayonara.